All right. Hey, everybody. We are back today to talk about one of our more fun topics, of course, AI. We've been talking about that a lot lately here, me and Ted. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah, it seems to be everybody seems to be talking about it, but it's so cool. You get to do so many neat things with it. Yeah. So, but what?
Well, and trying to peel back some of the layers, right? Like making
Oh,
it
absolutely.
practical. I
Yeah.
think I think you can, and we've talked about this before, you can think so far like what's gonna happen. We've talked
Sure.
about what's Google gonna do, with their
Right.
bread and butter, by presenting you results
Mhm.
versus, you know, you know,
So, so let's get a little practical then. So, one of the things, so there's a couple of things about normal websites that everybody has that, well, not everybody, a lot of people, a lot of companies have that, I don't like them. I know that they can help with user engagement, but if we're talking about growing a business, you have to have things on a website, especially if you've got a lot of content. You have to have search, and a lot of companies, will do real-time chat bots, or even live chat with a customer service rep or something like that. But all these tend to have live chat bots and online search. Well,
Mhm.
I don't know what your experience with these like is, Ted, but I know I
Yeah.
don't. I can't stand a chat bot. It drives me
Well,
bonkers.
there's yeah, you go there and you think you're gonna get an answer to your question, and in most cases, it's just gonna, if they
Forget-
have live
Yeah,
operators, it's just
yeah,
gonna
yep, yep. Just
put you
what
through this,
gets me to a person. Get me to a person. Get me to a person.
yeah, or just put you over to the FAQs or the support
Yeah,
section of their website, which, you
exactly.
know, but then again, a lot of the frustration I think comes from the people behind it that might have programmed it and,
Sure.
and loaded the data that was put
Oh,
into these
absolutely.
chatbots,
Most
right?
chatbots are organized by a person, with, here's the questions, here's the common questions I always get here. And so here's the answers to it. And of course, there's some automated logic to some of this stuff that they do, but that's how it's usually set up. And then there's the search. Okay, if I go on a on a site and I search, it's going to give me a list of links or a list of products. If I'm on a product site like Amazon or something like that, and I'm saying, okay, here's my different things that I think that you try to search for, that in order to attempt to answer your question. Google's the same way. Here I put in a keyword, it produces me a list of results that might match up to that. If I'm on a news website and I put something in, it's going to provide for me the list of articles
Mm,
that it thinks are relevant to whatever I typed in. Okay.
sure.
And what that does, that forces me, and this is what we've all been trained to. This is normal stuff. This is how search works. We go in, so we'll click the link. Doesn't answer my question. Nope. I click back button. I go to the next one. I keep doing that until I find the answers that I'm wanting.
Yeah.
And if I'm trying to figure out something complex, I'm going to be going to a bunch of different articles to try and figure out my answer that I was searching for at the end of the day. So
Sure. That's
that's
right.
how they work now. So let's enter
Well,
enter in. Yeah, let's enter
I
in the
was just
AI.
gonna say, since I don't know, it's like two podcasts ago when we were looking at the Google's generative
Mhm.
experience.
All
Uh,
right.
that has been really beneficial to me. Like literally, I'll go to the
Sure.
search engine, type in, and I'm done.
Yeah, you don't have to go anywhere.
That's
So
right.
why can't a business take advantage of this? Okay, I've got a lot of content on my site as a business. Why could I not take advantage of the same thing? So let's just, a news site. Okay, news sites have lots and lots and lots and lots of content on
Oh
them.
yeah.
I mean, they're constantly producing new content. Why can't I then train my own generative AI platform on, here's all my content, consume it all, understand it all, so that, if the person comes to my site and searches on something, that the AI is actually generating the answer, as opposed to me having to go click, 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 click all through the different articles to find what I want.
Right.
Something like this, it could go to the next level on, maybe there isn't a single article which answers a question. My answer has to come from multiple different sources on the website in order to answer the question. Like, give me the give me the yeah, how well this person, how well is the governor of, what has the governor of Florida done for this particular topic over the last 5 years?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to go and research a whole bunch of different articles to get that, unless somebody, of course, wrote a specific article on that. Most likely they didn't. And
Mm.
so in a generative AI, if it's trained on all of my content, I could dig in and use it as a research tool as opposed to the search, which just says, here's link 1, link 2, link 3, link 4, and you do the work yourself.
That's right.
That's really, really useful.
Yeah. And, even pointing it to your site, right? And I think some of the frustrations you may have felt is hitting up against those walls on those chat bots that
Mhm.
that person, on the other end may have been limited in the content that they've had,
Right.
but AI does expand those walls a little bit wider by really presenting you those
Mhm.
almost custom articles.
Sure. Think about it this, like maybe in the IT field. Okay. IT security. There's a million zillion different ways of solving the same problem, and there's a million problems out there from IT security. If you're a company and I have a huge library of stuff, why not make it available as that is the material that a generative AI is trained upon, so I can ask my question and I can get back an answer without clicking through all the different articles or documents to try and find my answer. It's there. It knows how to answer my question for me. How big, how major would that be? I mean, I could foresee somebody paying for access to that kind of a platform in order to get the answers I want to need quickly without wasting my time searching one article, the next article, the next article, the next article.
You may have just uncovered why Google's you know probably going to switch their model sometime soon with this AI.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't disagree. Now, I still struggle with Google and Bing on them basically saying, yeah, I'll answer your question. You never have to click on another link again. Yeah,
Yeah.
from that'd be eating into their paid. This is how they make money. It'd be eating to their paid ads. But yeah,
Well,
I,
and maybe it does come from the attribution, right? On where they're pulling this information from and
mhm,
crediting the source.
yeah,
So that maybe that paid side of things can still exist in a way, but then you
sure.
might get into biases in the search results based off of
And
paid ads.
exactly. And so that bias, that's one of the things here is these like OpenAI, that's Chat GPT. Okay. We know that it did not crawl the entire internet. We don't know what sites it did not crawl. And so let's say I've got a great friend who runs an amazing news service in Arkansas. Did it actually index their site, which has decades worth of content? I don't know.
Yeah.
But imagine if that site actually had its own generative AI where I could research all the content just on its site. Now, it would be skewed towards content that's written there, but
Mhm.
you can envision this for pretty much any kind of news site or research site or site that has lots of content. Obviously, it would be skewed towards the content in there
That's right.
to produce answers back.
Yeah. Even if it's appends data that may be outside of its traditional data
Mhm.
set, so
Sure.
it is more conversational, because you're gonna same frustration you might run into. You might be trying to ask it questions and you're just not going to be presented that data uh, unless it's actually got some additional uh, inputs,
Right.
right?
Granted, and that kind of brings up a really good point here is, if you're like, I'm trying to educate about a particular product. So I'm a company that sells a product that's relatively complex. Let's say IT security, whatever it may be. It
Yeah.
may be, as it is indexing all your content to try and make this available for people to answer questions for people. There is clearly going to need to be done a kind of a content gap analysis. You mentioned this earlier too.
Yeah.
If you've got missing content, it's going to become apparent real quick using this kind of search engine. If people can't get their questions answered, it presents a great opportunity for creating additional content to get people's questions answered. And if there is that missing content now, they're not getting questions answered now. And
That's
so
right.
it's a great opportunity for filling in the holes on serving your customers.
Right. And I think solving your frustration, and well, not just yours, but others' frustrations with using these chat bots and,
Yeah.
coming to a website and saying, hey, here's my question, and being presented with kind of a half answer, maybe you can,
If even that. Yeah.
I'm being
Yeah.
generous, a half
Yeah.
answer.
Sure.
Some of them are okay, especially when you're looking for a specific link,
Yeah.
on their site. But again, Google's going to kind of try to stay ahead of that.
Exactly. But if you, yeah, to the point, I mean, if you can provide a better experience for somebody, and we know these generative AI platforms provide a really solid experience. If you can provide the data, the content at which it needs in order to answer somebody's question, it's going to be far better than a search, the normal search which we experience now, and the chat apps which we experience now. That's a much better experience,
Right.
if you've got the content in order to be able to meet the needs of your audience.
Yeah, and I think identifying that content and knowing those gaps is going to be huge because, filling in the blanks,
Mhm.
when someone asks a question and realizing that they're not getting their answer,
Right.
making sure that content is usable.
Exactly. So I think that if we're talking about growing a company, yeah, I see this is a huge opportunity, and there are open source generative AI tools coming. We talked about this previously. Llama 2 is one of them. Now it has its own issues, but I know that XAI is coming. There's other open source platforms that are coming for this, that we can take and train on our own content in order to provide all sorts of unique ways of presenting information. But of course, we can tie this into data, actually, like physical number data, in order to provide answers. This is brand new stuff for to be able to provide a brand new experience for people searching for information, that they just didn't have access to before. I think it's just the phenomenal possibilities here surround this on providing content
Yep.
through these AI machine through generative AI. So,
Yeah, and I think having original content is going to be the place where
oh,
you shine, just because of if you're just using Chat GPT to create content, I think that's going to get stale pretty quick.
oh, very much so. Yeah, because that's just regurgitating content already. Yeah,
It's
I
been
realize that AIs are, they do a good job of writing, but if it's not original content, and it's just AI content over and over regurgitated, it's just going to be bleh.
Yeah. Yep.
It's got to be original. I totally wholeheartedly agree on that. And that can come from your products. It can come from news. That can be all sorts of different services. We all have great content, in order to be able to do something unique and interesting with, for people to search on and get their questions answered.
Yeah. Well, and especially around products and services, right? And
Mhm.
like my personal experience this week has been looking for a new router, right? And
Oh yeah,
you're always getting the top routers according to so and so for 2023, and
sure.
I'm starting to read
Everybody's is the
these,
best.
and I'm starting to read these with skepticism, and
Sure.
like, is this real? Like, do I trust this product
Right.
review, or is this just regurgitated from some other existing source?
Oh,
And
right.
that's existed for a while.
Mhm.
Even prior to AI, people are always kind of lifting and shifting other people's content. But
Right.
AI seems to be uh, putting that question in my head now.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, we've and to that point, I mean, yeah. All right, my little chat AI assistant, please go out there and pull all the reviews on these different products and tell me which one's the best.
yeah,
Yeah, why not? I mean, that makes an awful lot of sense because, yeah, usually I trust other reviewers.
yeah.
Usually, not all the time, but usually.
Well, it's
Um,
those aggregated reviews where you've got
Aggregated
like
information.
five different routers in one review, and it's like,
Mhm.
ah, I don't know about that.
Yep. So, perfect. All right. Well, I can think that's it for today, unless you got anything else, Ted, throw out there
No,
on
I
this topic.
mean,
Yeah.
original content, or
Key.
existing content that helps your product or service.
Yeah. And then being able to train an AI on your information in order to help people get their questions answered a whole lot easier than just here's a link, here's a
Yeah,
link, here's a
that's right.
link. All right. Better experience provide means, more growth, happier customers at the end of the day. So
Yep. Awesome.
all right. Thanks, y'all, for following us. We'll see y'all next time. Be sure to follow us here, follow us on YouTube, follow us wherever you consume your content. We really appreciate you checking us out and listening to what we have to say. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.